Hi mommies, I'm going to go over with you some of our foundational techniques and movements that we've done in the warm-ups from the beginning, and they're really great to implement every day into your routine, weave them into your life however possible, but especially when you're on the floor, on the ground, or even in bed before you get up in the morning, instead of just jackknifing yourself up out of bed, really using these techniques to be the foundation from which you move through your daily life. So we're going to start on our backs, and in this video we're going to go over diaphragm breathing, bridging, glute bridging, and the dead bug position, and starting to transition from your dead bug position, using that position to get up as we've practiced before in class. So you're going to lie down on your back. And you can start with your knees together and your hands on your belly. Right, your feet apart a little bit so you can relax your legs. And then you'll picture your torso like a balloon that has all sides. And on your in-breath, you'll picture 360-degree expansion. So as you breathe in, your belly rises, your back presses, your back ribs press back, your side ribs expand laterally, and then your pelvic floor will actually drop and relax. So what is that like to let the pelvic floor relax to a level 0 without pushing? And then on your exhale, everything draws back into the midline, right? So your lateral ribs draw inward, your belly draws back, and then your pelvic floor lifts upward. Right, so for a contraction. So go ahead and try that just a few rounds, and that's your diaphragm breathing, right? Really finding that expansion with the breath in and the contraction or the deflation on the breath out. So try that a few rounds. And you can always pause the video to do more, but we're going to go into our pelvic tilt. So you'll separate your knees so that they're in line with the hips. On our breath in, we feel that expansion. My fingers have slid to my hip points. And on my breath out, I'll draw my belly down towards the spine. I'll feel that contraction back to midline, but this time my hip points will travel upward toward my face. Right, I inhale and relax. I exhale, draw in, and my hip points travel up. So I'm feeling my lower back, that natural curvature, flatten into the floor. I inhale, relax, and I exhale, find that pelvic tilt, right? Again, you can pause the video and try a couple of more. We're gonna move into our glute bridges from here. So my hands will come down next to my body. My arms are like a lever, and I press into my heels. Notice my heels are underneath my knees, right? They're not too close into my butt, right? My heels are right underneath my knees, and then I picture hinging from my hips, hinging from my half, right? I breathe in fully to prepare and find that expansion. As I exhale, I press through my heels and lift my hips up. I inhale, lower my hips down, and exhale, press my hips up. So I'm hinging from my hips instead of peeling my spine down one vertebrae at a time. I'm just really pressing with my arms, my shoulder blades, and my heels to press my hip points upward towards the ceiling. And you can do this a bunch of rounds with your breath, exhaling for the lift. Notice if you have a lot of flare of your ribs. Can you keep your ribs drawing down and inward toward the midline, keeping that intra-abdominal readiness, that position that prepares us for movement. So again, you can pause the video and do a couple of rounds, a couple of more rounds, right? Like maybe 15 to 20 total. We're gonna move into our dead bug position. So I'm gonna flatten into my lower back. I'm gonna float my knees over my hips a little bit wider. So my feet are closer together than my knees are. That's a little bit of external rotation. I bring my hands over my shoulders with my elbows a little bit softened, like I'm holding a ball, right? And then I really find that engagement between the two hip points in front here, right? So I'm not bracing myself with my upper abdominals. I'm finding that 360-degree expansion with the breath in. On the breath out, I really draw my hip points upward and flatten into my sacrum, into my lower back on the floor. And my awareness is below the belly button, right? And between those two hip points. Oh, I think I hear a kid crying upstairs, but that's okay. I hope you can't hear it. You're gonna bring your hands over your shoulders, and maybe we stay here, and this is our challenging dead bug position. If you're adding on, you can just add your arms, right? So that in-breath prepares you, and the exhale, you'll draw into midline with the torso and lower the arms back behind you. You can do this while holding a baby, holding a block, holding a weight, or holding nothing, right? If you're adding on still, you can tap one foot down, right? On the exhale, inhale, lift up, exhale, lower down. So if you're doing it first thing in the morning, you might choose these kind of gentler versions. And if you're doing it as part of your workout later on in the day, or you just have more energy, you can do opposite arm and leg extend. So keeping in mind that the most important thing is staying stable, right, through your pelvis, keeping your lower back engaged with the floor, right? So I find this opposite arm and leg movement. So you can pause the video at any time to stop and find your version of the dead bug, and then you can play it again, right? And then keep in mind, the more you lengthen your limbs away from the midline, so I'm starting to straighten my arm and straighten my leg, right? If this is starting to happen, you're arching in your back, you've gone too far. So you want to rebend, reset, and really engage your back with the floor. Keep the focus below the belly button. And then find your version that you can do while keeping this ready position, keeping this stable posture. The last thing that we'll do in this video is the transitions up into a side lying position. So from the dead bug, we breathe in, and then my knees and shoulders are my hips and shoulders are gonna travel in one line. As I exhale, I lower my right limbs down towards the floor until my body follows, right? So I'm rolling like a log, and I press up. My top foot is grounded into the floor, and my forearm is grounded into the floor. To roll back, I come down onto my elbow, I swing my left knee, my top knee up, and that helps me roll back in one piece. So you can do alternating sides. I'll keep going to the same side so that my back is not to you, but I'm inhaling to prepare. I'm exhaling for the roll. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, rolling to the other side, right? And it's not very uncommon to be sort of crooked. That's okay, don't worry about that. And then in the next video, we'll add on to this.